Hi, this is Hack the File. I'm Michael Lopez, and on today's episode, we're going to be going over the next Python lesson in the Python series. Enjoy. All right, everybody, we're going to do the next Python video. So, this is lesson 2, video 2, I think. So, access to this material is going to end in a couple of days, so I'm going to try to pump out as many videos as I can, but I am probably just going to have to just download all this material and then we could do it like that since I paid for it. I don't care about getting the certificate because that doesn't matter to me. Certificates don't matter to me anymore because I have a job. I mean, I'm just wanting to learn this. So, all right, we're gonna pick up where we left off, and we're, I guess, right here. So, let me open up my Python editor. So, I think it's the IDLE. So I'm gonna open up my IDLE. And yeah, it's the IDLE, remember? And we're gonna go to new file. There you go. Okay. All right. What fun it is to program! What fun is a program if it just spits out words and data to the user? Sure, there are times when you'll want to present information to your user in the form of output. However, for really interesting programs, you'll want to get data from the user too. So that's what we're going to do next. There are two basic ways to get input from the user. Both methods work the same, but one enables you to read the user's response as a string. The other reads it as a number. Let's start the string method. For string input, Python uses a function called input. This function enables you to print a prompt to your user. This is just good programming practice that you should strongly consider putting in your code. Here's the general form of the input function. So here's your variable, any name, and equals input prompt. Be aware that the angle brackets aren't part of the code. This is just a way of saying put your variable here. Technically, the variable in the above statement isn't part of the function either. However, if you're taking the time to get input from the user, you'll need to put it somewhere. At any rate, let's look at the specific example that lets you try it. Coming up, you're going to write a couple of lines of code that ask users for their names and a program that will echo back whatever you enter. This is how the code ends up looking. So let's write this code. And open my IDLE. Okay. Let's make this smaller. And let's make this one about right there is fine. All right. Remember, we're gonna have to save this. Okay, so let's put our comment first. Get the name from the user. Yeah, that's our comment with the hashtag or the pound symbol. So here goes your value. I guess that's our variable equals input. Input. Please enter your name. Well, we need to put this. Give him a space. And then we're gonna print value. All right, let's save. We're gonna have to save this. We're gonna run it. Save it. I'm gonna save it under. I'm gonna say test 10 because that's what we have. All right, now here we go. So it's gonna say, please enter your name. And my name is Mike. Turn. And it says Mike. Get the name from the user. So it says, so your input right here is gonna wait for an input from the screen. Okay, from the device, right? And then it's gonna print the value, and your value is your input. So whatever he puts in here, it's gonna get saved to that variable, and you're gonna print it. So print, and then you're gonna pop that back to the screen. It's a simple little idea, right? That's what we just did. The first thing you'll probably note about this code is that the first line starts with that hashtag or the pound symbol. This line is a comment. By putting the pound sign there, we're telling the interpreter to ignore the rest of the line. So ignore this. Although comments aren't required in a program, it's a really good idea to include them because they make it easier to read and understand the code. Now, from a cybersecurity perspective, these in the source code leave you vulnerable. So it's kind of like just a catch-22, right? Programmers are taught that this is good programming, but this is also good programming for a hacker. If they have the source code, you're telling them exactly what's going on in your code, and then they go and they hack it. So I don't know, that to me is always confusing thing, because this is good for programmers, and programmers it's great to leave comments so you could tell people what your code is doing and stuff, but for hackers it's even better. All right, but this is just learning Python. So okay, try it. Open a new module. Okay, so we already tried this. Click on new file, type in the code, paste it, but we're going to practice by actually writing the code, or you can do this and copy and paste. It's fine, but make sure you understand what you're doing. Okay. All right, go ahead and run this program. We already did it. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's kind of wrap this up. I only want to make these videos 30 minutes. Okay, converting numeric input into a string. Okay, suppose you want to ask the user's age and then say how old the user is, how old the user will be in 10 years. Using what you know already, you might choose to start with a call to input and then add 10 to the age. So here's so let's do this one. Okay, so we'll get our little get our IDLE up, and we're going to redo. So we're going to say get user's age. All right, age equals. Then we want to put the input for the the prompt, and it's going to say enter your age. We want to do that, and we're going to do it the same way. And come over here, and we're going to say the future. We want to future age. Well, let's use this little underscore. Future age equals age. Yeah, I can already see what's gonna happen. Okay. So it's not gonna work, right? All right, so let's run this module. Yep, I already saved it. We'll see, I'm 10. See, trace back, you're gonna have a problem. Okay, Now, the reason for that, it's going to tell you right now. This seems like a reasonable approach. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. Your age, it's going to save this numeric value into a string, and then but you're creating a new value, and you're going to add up your first value, which is whatever they put in the input, which is, let's say, 10, and then you're going to, which is a string though, with the integer value. So that's kind of weird, but Python, I don't know if it's that powerful, right? And then, so that'd be 10, because I put 10, and then plus 10, that's 20. And then print out future age. So then print this one out, it would be future age, right? Seems simple enough. However, if you try to run that code, it ain't gonna work. You'll notice that there's a problem. You'll see the following error, and that's exactly what we got: the traceback error, line 2. Type error can only concatenate. That means you can only attach string, not integer, to string. So you can only attach a string to a string, and an integer to an integer, and so forth, right? But I thought Python was powerful. So there's ways to get around this. At least you don't have to. I mean, this one you have to declare it, right? So the error message is trying to tell you that you can't add a number to a string. Recall that the input, oh yeah, okay, gives us back the value as a string, even if the string is storing numeric value. Okay, so that makes sense. You cannot add a number to a string. So when we do that, when we're asking them, we do the input, it's going to return that number as a string. So it's going to return it as a string. Okay, because we're putting it into a string, right? And you can't do that. You can't do an integer with a string, number with the letters. Okay, the way to get around this is to make use of either the integer function for integers or the float function for floating point numbers to convert the string into numbers before doing the math. So to fix it, what we're going to do is, on your next variable future age, we're going to make it an integer age. We're going to turn it back into an integer, from a string to an integer. So I mean, that is pretty powerful. That's awesome. In C# you probably do have to turn it into an object, and the object to a string or whatever, integer, or you'd have to declare the variable. It's a lot harder. This is way easier. Okay. Note that many Python programmers choose to simply wrap the integer or float function call around the input function. Okay. Oh yeah, that makes sense. So now what you're saying is, you're going to say the first one, age. You're going to say the input is an integer. So you put an integer in front of the input, and then you're saying integer. So you're declaring it first. So you're saying, all right, this input is going to be an integer, not a string. But we're going to take that integer and we'll put it into a string, but it's going to be an integer. So we're declaring this whole thing as an integer. And this one is going to be an integer, since we declared it as an integer, plus an integer. And therefore it's going to print now, right? So let's take that, we can copy that, and then we can, since I already explained it to you, right? Actually, let's just do this. So so we're going to declare this integer first, and then we're going to wrap it. Okay. You're going to put this, and then at the end over here, you're going to put another one, right? Because we're going to encapsulate it, and then we're going to encapsulate this with these two parentheses, right? And I can actually go back. I don't know if that matters or not, but now that'll work. So let's go ahead and run that. See, enter your age. I'm going to say I'm 20. And it's going to give me my future age is 30, see? Now you can add on to that and have it talk and everything, but that worked. See, your code worked. By including this code, now the value stored in the age is a number from the very beginning. See, that's pretty cool. I like that. I think that's probably just for inputs and stuff. I'm guessing, because I know Python is pretty powerful. At this point, you can have all the basics for the user's input and basics used for numeric and string variables. But there are still a lot more you can do with these things. Let's move on to chapter 4, where you'll learn how to do some of the math operations and numeric values. You will also learn about some of the awesome tools that can be applied to your strings. Where we at? Basic math? So we are on chapter 3. How come I said chapter 4? Alright, basic math. Let's face it, computers came about because people wanted to numeric manipulation. People wanted a way to be able to do math quickly and accurately. There will be times when you need to do math operations, Python code, so let's have a look at the available tools. Basic math. It shouldn't be much of a surprise to know that you can do simple math, add, subtraction, multiplication, division with the signs here, and that for division operators. Respectfully, this is pretty standard in most languages. There are basic operators that can do the same. You can use in math in Python. Original operand formats. When you do any kind of math operation, the result takes on the format of the original operands. This means that if you do something like add the whole number 1 to a whole number 2, the result is the whole number 3. Likewise, if you add a decimal of 1.0 to the decimal 2.0, you get the decimal 3.0. Other useful operators. Another operator that can be handy for you in this module represented by the percentage sign. The operator gives you the remainder after doing this division. That means that 7 divided with the percent sign divided by 2 will give you 1. Yeah, because 6, remainder 1. Will give you the remainder. Because 7 divided by 2 is 3 with 1 left over. This is a handy little operator where you'll need to figure out the user's value, or odd or even. When divided to odd numbers have a remainder of 1, while even remainder of 0. What if you want to raise to the power? Maybe you need to figure out the value of 2 squared or 100 to the 10th power. We can do this with Python exploitation operators represented by 2 asterisks, like bam bam, so that you can find your answer by typing the following. Print 2 to the power of 2. Print 1 to the power of 10. 100 to the power of 10. So let's just go ahead and copy that, right? We're going to do these because I want to see them in live action. So there you go. So 2 to the power of 2 is 4. 100 to the power of 10 is this. Okay. That works. Okay, that's how you do basic math. Importing libraries. There are some more advanced math things that you can do by using math library. A math library is a file that has some math functions and constraints that you can use in your programs if you need it. Before you use a library, you must use an import statement to import it. The import statement is a line code that tells the computer that you're going to reference something, in particular library file. The Python file that you download include math library. All you have to do is import it. To import math libraries in your program file, make the import statement in the first line of your program. Then you can use whatever available library you want. For example, consider the following. Import math. So this is when we start going into imports, and imports are very important in Python. Well, they're important with all the programs, but especially in Python, because you're going to run all kinds of crazy imports that you're going to download from God knows what sources, and from the PyPy or whatever. All the libraries, they're just different libraries. I don't know what I'm saying. You're going to download different libraries with the import, right? And that's how you pull them into your code. And then, so when you're typing it, you can use all their functions, right? It's literally a library, like a book that says, in this library or in this book, this is going to give you all your math advanced functions, right? It's not in just your basic code. So you're going to import the math, and you could do like pi, and you can do there's even a better way to say do the power with POW. You could do POW, like instead of doing the instead of doing the 2 stars, you could just put math.pow, right? And that's what that library does. It gives you functions like that, right? So we can paste this and we can run this, and you're gonna get the value of pi is 3.141592, and then it gives you how many digits? Gives you enough digits, and then there's even another way to do power with the math.pow. See, so that's what the library does, and when you import something, you can import all kinds of stuff for hacking too. It's pretty cool. In this above code, the first line, import math, imports the math library. Then the third line calls the math operation from the library math.py. Oh yeah, print math.py. The fifth and sixth lines refer to a function from the library math.pow. Okay. There's a whole suite of functions you could use for the math library. However, in this course, it isn't about numbers. Strings are fun to work with too, and that's what you'll turn in your attention next to. String manipulation. String is an important data type, and Python has done its best to make things easier to work as possible. One thing programmers want to do with strings is to add another string. Now this isn't adding like math, but instead concatenation means we're putting 2 strings together, which means appending one string to the other. Try it. A few quick experiments with concatenation. In the IDLE shell window at the something prop, type the following and press enter. So I'm gonna go here, and we're gonna, it says right here, right? Oh shoot. There's that prompt, right? Print new plus print New York. There you go, New York. So we concatenated, appended this to this. So we said print this string to this string, and then it put it together and it said New York. The result will be New York. Note that in order to get the blank space between the 2 words, you have to place a blank before closing the quote. Python takes this a step further. In addition to being able to use the plus to string, you can use that. Try this out in the IDLE window. Let's go here. Let's take this. I'm just going to take this. And I'm going to go here. And I'm going to type paste it. And over and over and over. So print and over times 3. So print it and over and over and over 3 times. Oh, that's neat. I didn't know you could do that. That's cool. So it took that, printed 3 times. The result here is going to be and over and over and over. You may not think that this is a very useful tool, but imagine if you're creating some type of report where you wanted to separate each section in some way. You can create a horizontal line composed of the separate characters by specifying the character, multiplying an operator, and then the number of times you want to repeat it. Oh yeah. So it's going to be, oh, this one's cool. So this one's going to be equal signs 80 times. Right. There it is. See, bam. Printed that sucker 80 times. Yeah. Other string manipulation commands. Python provides a number of tools to help you work with your strings. For example, it's quite common to need to know the length of a string. For that, you can use the len function. Try it out on your command prompt by typing this. Yeah, command prompt. So this one. So here. And we're just going to copy and paste this. Right. So if you do this, make sure you practice not doing this for a minute. So the word equals my words are important. Print the length of word. So it's going to give me the total length of this all these strings, all the string characters, right? The length of that string. And the length of that string is 23. So there's 23 characters in the length of this string, because I put print length and then I encapsulated it in these parentheses, and then print the word and I put it all in that variable. So that's how that works. That's pretty neat. Yeah, length. It's usually the same in a lot of different programming languages. LEN. Actually, in C#, it's actually length. The computer should print the length on the string. In this case, it's 23. There are also functions that let you search for strings, particularly substring, find, break the strings into substrings, split, remove white spaces from the ends of the string, strip, tell if the letters are uppercase is upper, or convert all the letters to lowercase, lower. There isn't time or space to cover each of these functions genres, but be aware that you're trying to manipulate your strings. There are probably functions that'll make it easier. So yeah, you can find a letter, you can change them to upper, you can change them to lower. I've used split a lot. So yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff with a string. Alright, indexing and slicing. There are two useful things you can do with strings: indexing and slicing. Indexing. Strings are just a collection of zeros, more characters. Python enables you to access individual characters with a number of index. For example, try the following code. Phrase, Python rocks. Print phrase 0. So it's going to print this P, right? Because that's the first index. It all starts with a 0 in coding. Okay, and then 1. Well, it depends on how they code it, but it usually starts like that. Right? We're going to run this, and boom, P. So it gave me the P of that index, because the phrase, right, the index was in these brackets. 0, you're looking for the first one, which is 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even that space counts as 1, 6. In order to place a 0 inside the square brackets, you're asking for the first letter of the phrase, which is P. Very important thing to note is the indexing string. Python lets you access characters. You cannot use this method to put characters. So phrase 0 in the brackets equals P, but that's okay. You can accomplish the same thing by doing this. Phrase equals P plus phrase. It's not going to work. I got 2 minutes. We're going to have to go just a little over 30 minutes, I think. See, that's not going to run, right? We're going to probably, because we're going to have to do the review, so we're just going to make this video a little over 30 minutes, okay? By placing the number 0 inside the square brackets, you're asking for the first level and the first letter in the phrase variable, which is P. So I'm saying phrase first variable equals P. One very important thing to note is that the indexing string in Python is that you can only use it to access the characters. That is, you cannot use this method to put new characters in certain positions. So you can't do that. But we can't put P in the first one. But it's okay, you can accomplish the same thing by doing this. So phrase equals P. So you're saying that equals P plus phrase, and then now you're putting it in the first position. I think. Let's see that. Everybody's having fun outside. Let me see. I've never done this. And you can't do that either. How come you can't do that? That's odd. Alright, phrase is not defined. Let's define phrase. I want to see something, so I'm going to make that T or Y. Let's see if this turns out a P. It did nothing. Phrase equals... Oh, because that's 1. Huh, okay. So, T, U, P. I have no idea what this is doing. That's weird. So this is supposed to be... Man, that's a weird one. So you can't do this. It says, oh, Python rocks. You forgot to put this in there. Okay, let's see. Restart. What? Restart. Yeah, I'm totally confused about this. So, okay, let me go through this. So, phrase equals Python rocks. Phrase equals P plus phrase. Oh. Wait a minute. So it's saying this plus in this number 1 space, so 0, so pi. So not put, it should put pi right here. Oh, we didn't print anything. Why? Python rocks. I have no clue. I don't want to spend too much time on it, so you guys are gonna have to like pause this and go through this yourself, because I don't feel like spending more time on this. I'm gonna have to read this and one more time, and I'm done. So that's one thing that you guys, if you're doing it, troubleshoot through this and see what it's doing. Pause it, read it, the indexing. Tell me what it's doing. You guys are, the ones that know Python already. That'd be pretty cool. Explain to me what's going on here. Slicing. If you provide 2 numbers separated by a colon, you can get a range of characters out of that string. Let's That's known as slicing. You can test this out by the following code. So print phrase, and you're gonna want 1 and 3. So you're gonna want y 0, 1, 2, y and h. So you're gonna split it on y and h. Let's see. Yeah, y and t. So you're splitting it at 1, so 0, 1. So you're splitting it right there. 2, 3 on the h. So it should say YH, right? YT. So we're going to split it. So you're going to split it on the 0, 1. Split it on the Y. Oh yeah, okay, so it's going to show Y. And then 3, so 0, 1, 2, 3. You're going to split it. And it's going to show that 0, 1, 2, 3 on the 3. What's behind it, right? Just gonna split it there and there. Okay. Splitting it. If you tried to put above code, you're probably looking at the answer you didn't expect. Yeah, that's true. You'll see Python will take the first number, 1, and start it slice there, 0, 1, h, and that's what we got the y though. Oh, I'm sorry. So we got the y, so we'll start there. However, the second number isn't a number of characters to take. Instead, it's the end of the slice. Oh, that's right. Gosh. Well, that's where it gets a bit confusing. The last character position here is 3, isn't included in the slice. So 0, 1, 2, 3, we're not going to include that. So it's going to start here and end there. All right. The last character position, 3, isn't included in the slice. This means that if you wanted to get the word rock, you would do this, 7, 11. Okay, that makes sense. Perhaps you were wondering how to get the rocks out of the string since you can't reference the last character by number. The answer is simple. Python allows you to omit either numbers to get at the end. This means the answer to the question is this. So at the 7th, let's do that one. Gosh. Okay. Rocks. So 7, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to start from there, and then you're omitting everything else behind it. So it's that semicolon. Yeah, and then rocks. So if you tried the above code, you're probably looking at the answer. Oh no, we read that one. So read that one. This may be a bit of a pain, but with more you work with this, you practice, the more you'll get used to the way the Python does things. Also, keep in mind how powerful slicing is. Remember, there's no function call here. Is there a way to use different print statements to get different outputs? Yes, Python 3 requires us to make use of the n attributes to replace the standard n, a carriage returned with blank spaces. Consider the following code. We'll display the number 1, 2 on the same line. Value 1 equals 1, value 2 equals 2. Print value 1 and print value 2 and Next, review. When you begin this lesson, you might have thought that there wasn't much variables and inputs. And in some ways, that's right. As you saw, the basic rule of numeric string values is pretty easy. Even input with input function is fairly straightforward. Once you get into the language a little bit, you'll find it goes pretty deep. Remember, the goal of Python is to give you a full set of simple tools that you can use for common things. The best part of this, we've only scratched the surface. If you want more information about some of these functions, the material is out there and it shouldn't be too hard to find and understand. There are links to some of your information and resources for further learning sections for this lesson. Please read and explore, but most of all, play with these things and have fun. In the next lesson, you'll learn how to create a program that makes decisions. You'll then be able to do things like ask users for questions and then run one of the set of codes based on the answer they give. This is really going to make a personal, interact program for your users and enjoy. Learning check. Let's take the practice quiz. Which of the following is a reserved keyword in Python? Man, it's gonna be else. Else, yeah. In quote equals hello. What is hello? Oh, what is hello? That's a string because it's in those parentheses, right? Quotation marks, right? What function would you use to convert a text string such as 2.2 to a numeric value that can be used in a math operation? You do the integer. Oh, wait a minute. That's a float. So you do float. Correct. So remember, the floats are decimals. How would you represent 2 to the 5th power in a math calculation? That one. Remember the 2 stars. That's times, and that's to the power. What about that one? Some applications use the caret symbol to represent exploitation. Excel, for example, but Python does it. Nice. What does the code this times 40 do? Multiplies it by 4. Oh no, I'm sorry. It displays 40 asterisks in a row. So it takes this string and displays it 40 times, remember? Yeah. Demonstrate how slicing works. Here's the lessons, right? Now, what I would do is I would pause the video, read this, and try to do it. Use your knowledge of string variables and put an input to write a program that demonstrates how slicing works. Have your program get a word or phrase from the user and then 2 numbers. Use 2 numbers to slice the strings and print out the slice. That's awesome. See, now this would be fun to do because we already know how to do it. Use your knowledge, string values, input, and write a program that demonstrates how slicing works. Have your program get a word or phrase from the user. So I would say input a phrase, and then you put happy birthday, right? And then you would say from the user 2 numbers, and then be like, okay, input number 1, input number 2. Use those 2 numbers to slice the string and put out a slice. Okay, so I would say I would say enter in number 1, enter in number 2. After you enter in the phrase, I'd be like input numbers, and then it would store all those, and like, let's do it real quick because that's kind of interesting. I think that would be fun. So we'd go, we'd say phrase, input, and then we'd say, the heck is going on here? And then we'd say value 1, integer, input. And this is just basic. Let's say and we're making these integers because remember, you can't concatenate a string with two strings with numbers. I think. Now you want to be specific later, right? And then we'll do, so those are my phrase. Please enter phrase, value 1. Please enter number. Please enter another number. And then over here we're gonna say print. Oh, wait a minute. We're gonna slice it, right? See, I can't remember how to slice it. So we're gonna go back here and where are we at? Review, looping. Wait a minute. I'm gonna go to the slice. You're slicing. So we're gonna slice this. Okay, so print phrase. Oh, okay. We're gonna see if we can plus that. Let's do this. Where the heck am I? Lesson 3? Oh, we're in lesson 2. Okay. Assignment. Okay. So have your program get a word or phrase from the user and 2 numbers. We did that. Use those 2 numbers to slice the string and print out that slice. All right. Let's do that. Yeah. So now we're going to take these 2. I'm going to paste this because it's easier. So print. That bothers me. Print phrase. Let me see if that works. I don't know if this is going to work. This might not work. Alright, we're going to try this easy way. Oh, that needs a comma. Forgot a comma? Did I forget a comma? Wait a minute. What comma? Why does this need a comma? Alright, let me put something here real quick because I'm gonna test this. Please enter phrase. Okay, line 6, print phrase, value, name, value 1 is not defined. Oh, it's not. Of course not. Gosh. Because it's going to get stuck there. Oh, it's never closed, huh? Oh, crap. Maybe it goes here. Like that. Like that. Maybe it does need that. Alright, I'm just like goofing around now. I don't know what the heck is wrong with me. I mean, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, so this one is that. This one is that. Do I need 3? Or do I need 2? Ah, crap. Let's go look back. Let's go look back. Let's see how to. What you do, you just go back and look. Because apparently my brain is not working. Okay, so here it is. You don't need to encapsulate that. You just put it here and there. You just gotta write it like that. Okay, that's what I'm doing wrong. So we don't need this here. This one and this one, this one, this one. Okay, let's see if that works. Enter phrase. Let's fix this. Enter phrase. Happy B-Day. Enter number. Enter phrase. Enter number. Let's do 0. Enter another number. So let's do happy birthday. So it'll go 0. It'll start there. Then it'll end at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, it'll just say happy, I think. Happy. There you go. That worked. So that's basically what I wanted you to do. So that was fun. That's the fun of programming, right? So printed out happy. So it took. You declared your variable phrase. You did your input. You made it an input because it's going to put it into a string. You can't do strings and inputs. Or maybe you didn't have to do this here. We could test that theory here in a second, but because I'm not thinking straight. But anyways, you learn how to do that, right? So your first value, integer is input. You wanted to get a number. Okay, and then right here, and then you put it in there. And then the second, please enter another number, you enter it in there, and then you printed out your phrase, and then you split it between value 1 number and value 2 number. And printed out the output. So, I don't think you needed to put this integer here because, well, yeah, no, because you're splitting it, you're not adding it. So let's test that theory. I don't think you need to do this either. Yeah, so this last one, what did I do? Slice indicates must. Oh, okay, yeah. Slice indices must be integers or non. Yeah, so you got to turn that in. So you do have to turn that into integers because yeah, it's gonna store it in a string right here. So that was right. You have to keep the integers at the end. So I was right. Yeah, that makes sense because they're gonna enter in the integer and then they're gonna put the into a string, so it can't splice it with it. No, it didn't say that. It said you couldn't add them, but I guess you can't splice them either, right? Because I guess that works like that. So we did that. That was fun. That's what you guys are gonna have to do. Figure all that out. That's the fun part. At this point, you have all the basics for user input and basics for numeric value string values. There are still a lot more you can do with these things. Let's move to chapter 4, where you will learn how to do some math operation numeric values. You will also learn some awesome tools that can be applied to your strings. So, is it math? No. We'll do the quiz. So I got 100% on this quiz a long time ago. So, I mean, well. Alright, which of the following code segments will generate an error? So this one is because it's got 2 quotation marks, right? What is the result of the following line of code? Print y 3 times, so y. Which of the following operator computes the value of 5 squared? This is a squared. What is the name of the library file that contains a variety of mathematical functions and constants? It's going to be your math dot. It's not that. Math dot. Math dot pow is what it was, or math dot whatever. Right? Math dot pi. Okay, what will the following code print? Word equals ABCDEF. Print word 3 through 5, and we figured it was D and E because 3, 0, 1, 2, 3 starts at 3, ends at 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's going to show the E, the one before it. D and E, right? Shows the one before it. So 0, 1, 2. Yeah, it shows the one before it. Now here's your resources, math library members, and here's your URL, string functions, and here's your URL. Pause it, get the URLs. Gives you some stuff. Now here's the discussion area, and then they asked about slicing is confusing. Yep, sucks. I don't care. I don't want to talk to people. All right, making decisions in Python. So now we're on lesson 3. I'm gonna make this some decisions, okay? So that was it. That was a long video. So I hope you enjoyed it. All this stuff I've gone through already, so it's kind of messing with me, but it's okay. Obviously, I need to learn some more. So this video is for people that are wanting to learn Python and get some kind of idea where to start. And read this, go through this series if this is your first video, and it'll give you some ideas for how to learn Python for fairly cheap. And like I said, I love this program. It actually teaches you how to read and play with code, and I like the way it's structured. So that was HackTheFile. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Have fun.